Let's have a prayer after we get out of here and go.
Polygamy was never the point. Robin just wanted the title without the hassle. Robin frequently pleaded with Mary not to leave or asked, repeatedly, if she was certain she couldn't make things work with Kody. But the question is, why? What exactly was Robin gaining from Mary's continued presence? They rarely communicated during the Flagstaff years, so emotional closeness wasn't the reason.
I just think he's always looking out for himself and now for Robin and himself. He just always somehow thinks he's somehow entitled to more.
The more likely explanations: money, image control, power. Robin benefited from maintaining the appearance of polygamy without actually having to share her husband. With Mary still in the family,
I think he caters to Robin's needs, to Robin's kids, to whatever Robin needs.
Robin could claim the title of sister wife while effectively having a monogamous relationship. Financially, Mary brought in her own income, particularly from her business ventures. Robin had every reason to keep that money within the family structure. Once Mary left, so did her contributions.
To watch, because I felt like there was so much of the time where Robin was just manipulating Mary.
Mary also served as a convenient support beam in Robin's power structure. She was compliant, easy to manipulate, and remained the perpetual outsider. That lack of threat made her useful. Robin could maintain dominance while keeping a loyal but sidelined figure in the background.
You know, I'm really all about supporting Mary going off and figuring out who she is.
There's also the matter of optics. Mary was the original wife, the one with legal standing for many years. Her continued presence lent credibility to the group's public image. It helped preserve the illusion that the polygamist lifestyle was still intact. Additionally, Mary's participation helped sustain the family brand. She, along with Christine, consistently contributed to keeping the family operations moving, particularly during production. Others, including Robin, largely coasted. In short, Robin appeared invested in polygamy, but only on her terms. She wanted the status and the narrative without the actual compromise. With Mary around, she had the perfect setup: the look of plural marriage, the reality of monogamy, and the added perks of loyalty, money, and control. You won't believe how close this little girl came to dying, while both her parents looked the other way. It's unlikely Kody was the one caring for Truly that night.
Truly does not feel well at all, and she kept me up all night last night.
Aspen mentioned Truly kept her awake, which strongly suggests she was the one handling it. Kody was almost certainly at Robin's house. He was nowhere near Truly when she needed him most. All the mothers were away, and logically, one would expect him to stay with the younger kids. Truly was sick. He should have been by her side. If the worst had happened, if she hadn't pulled through, the emotional burden would have fallen squarely on Aspen and Mykelti. Aspen was visibly distraught during a prayer circle for Truly. She was terrified because she'd effectively been raising her siblings from the time she could reach the stove.
You know, Kody says she just has flu-like symptoms, but not a fever. But Aspen and Mykelti are pretty freaked out.
Meanwhile, Kody likely dismissed it all with, "Aspen didn't tell me," a convenient excuse. He left Aspen and Mykelti to shoulder most of the responsibility, while he spent nights with Robin's children exclusively. This made no practical sense. Why not consolidate the younger kids in one home and stay with them himself? Some consideration can be given to the fact he was overseeing multiple children while the mothers were away, but once they returned, Christine resumed care of her own 6 kids, not everyone's, and still allowed most of Truly's care to fall on the older daughters. Again.
Whereas, even with the adult children in Robin's house,
ultimately, there's no real excuse he chose to have a large family. By then, many of the children were teenagers. Robin even had help in the form of Mindy, yet Kody still avoided being present where he was needed most. If he didn't want the responsibility, he shouldn't have made the choices that created it. This situation amounted to neglect on the part of both Kody and Christine.
Truly got the flu, and she got so dehydrated.
Truly was seriously ill and left in the care of teenagers. She nearly died. The fact that this didn't result in involvement from child services is genuinely baffling.
A day-to-day basis, taking care of the kids, I'm sorry, it's just...
Kody openly stated he prioritized staying at Robin's because her children were younger, and he felt the teenagers in the other homes didn't need him as much. This logic completely ignored the fact that Truly, the youngest and sickest child, was not in that house. If anything, he should have arranged for one of the older kids to be at Robin's and gone to care for his sick daughter himself. Kody and Robin hijacked the spotlight and ruined the entire show.
When the kids were younger, I was home more than anybody else. Everybody, pitched in and stuff.
The original three wives are carrying the entire show. Kody and Robin avoid answering real questions, lie constantly, and their scripted scenes are painfully dull.
If they apologize and they're kind of
No. All I want to do is talk to him.
The only time they're worth watching is when they're being confronted or held accountable. Their storylines feel fake and poorly acted, adding nothing of value.
But yet I still see no movement on his part towards reconciliation.
They should only appear when it directly impacts Christine or Janelle's journeys. The manufactured drama has become unbearable.
One who said the boys cannot come until they apologize.
There's no interest in seeing the couple or their adult children unless they're finally facing the consequences of their actions.
There's an element that I'm struggling with here. I've been left feeling pretty disrespected.
It's frustrating that they're earning equal or more than the ones actually providing content, especially when their scenes are so clearly designed to mislead and deflect. Kody and Robin haven't contributed anything meaningful in years.
It's so interesting to me that Kody's like, I'm so hurt over this divorce. He was telling me for years.
Long before the pandemic, the focus had shifted to his conflicts with the other wives and their children. Their household only started getting screen time recently, likely because there was no one else left to film. At this point, their only remaining appeal is the possibility of everything falling apart.
Well, what you just did there was accountability.
Unfortunately, the reality TV checks are probably the only thing keeping them afloat. Until that ends, the real resolution may never come. Don't believe the moving story. It was never about unity. It was always about control. The manipulation used to convince Mary to move to Flagstaff mirrored the same tactics used on Christine when she asked to return to Utah.
Cottonwood saying to me,
I want everybody to see the view.
With Mary, a dramatic, special moment at the Cottonwood property was orchestrated to emotionally reel her in.
I want to apologize to you for not being more...
Later, it was brushed off with a casual, sorry I didn't back you on Cottonwood, as if that entire setup hadn't been deliberate. The real reason for the move to Flagstaff wasn't about family unity or a fresh start. It was because Dayton got into college there, and everything was aligned to serve that goal.
We don't have a community here.
I don't know how to work this out.
When Christine brought up moving back to Utah, she was momentarily led to believe it was a possibility. But the moment there was any pushback, particularly from Robin, the idea was immediately shut down. Christine was then blamed for not pitching it to the family, conveniently erasing the fact that she'd been led on and set up to fail. Meanwhile, accusations of her playing games were thrown around, despite the fact that Kody was the one dragging out his stay at Christine's home just to test her.
Coyote Pass is property that we bought in Flagstaff. It's beautiful.
Promises about building homes on Coyote Pass were made, grand statements about constructing everything at once, only for it to come out later that those promises were never serious. They were just another tactic to delay and placate. Mary was love-bombed into moving. Lies were told, misdirection was constant, and all of it served to maintain a lifestyle that increasingly centered around one person. There were moments when Kody did seem genuinely interested in things like Cottonwood or moving back to Utah, places that offered social connection and personal fulfillment. But those plans consistently disappeared whenever they conflicted with Robin's preferences.
He's been the one who said over and over, we're just going to get to know each other and then not talk to her for a year.
The same pattern repeated with Janelle. Excitement about RV living was met with firm resistance, and suddenly the enthusiasm vanished. His anger in those moments wasn't just frustration. It was the reaction of someone who wasn't allowed to have what he wanted. And when it came to building on Coyote Pass, that was never the plan. The priority was always keeping the large, comfortable house already purchased, conveniently located closest to the land in question. Kody Brown might have just lost his eternal reward, and no one's talking about it.
I almost don't really consider us married anymore. I mean, we're married.
Well,
My spiritual belief says that we're married.
Janelle needs to sever ties completely, if for no other reason than to keep Kody from pretending otherwise. As long as there's ambiguity, Robin can continue acting like she still has a sister wife to share her porch fantasies with.
I know Mary has just recently gotten a release.
Mary has been spiritually released. Christine too, at least according to Robin, who now seems to consider herself the gatekeeper of everyone's spiritual status. But Janelle?
Because our marriages are so sacred to us, right? I can't remarry until I'm released.
She needs to make absolutely sure there's no celestial connection left. She's moved across the country. The footage being shown is already a year old, and anything Kody says now is clearly directed at the camera, not her. It's doubtful they even speak anymore. Regardless of personal beliefs, according to their doctrine, there's this idea that in the afterlife, spiritual ties remain unless formally broken.
And I don't want to be sealed to him for eternity.
That means unless Janelle gets a release, Kody could still claim her as his wife on some otherworldly planet. Whether or not anyone actually believes that, even the slightest possibility should be enough to warrant cutting that final thread.
And she was married to me when I was married to Christine. And she was married to me while I was married to Robin.
There's also Kody's ego to consider. A spiritual release would deny him the comfort of thinking he still has a full celestial household. He chose monogamy with Robin on Earth, but likely still enjoys believing he's got backup wives waiting in the afterlife. That belief gives him the illusion of winning. Removing that, it would be a blow he's not prepared for.
Who said, we've given Mary a release.
When Mary got her release, it clearly hit a nerve. He tolerated her silence, even helped her walk away, but once she formalized it, he was visibly uncomfortable and didn't want to talk about it. It challenged his pride and his belief system.
I don't want to be married to him anymore, but yet I don't even know who to go ask for a release.
If even one more wife gets released, that spiritual fantasy collapses. The structure falls apart. As for Janelle, she may already consider herself free.
This is it. This is where I'm gonna live.
Leaving the necklace, Kody, and Flagstaff behind may have been her way of drawing the line. Still, the idea that she's unsure of how to take the next step is frustrating.
Ask. I don't even know anybody at the church over there anymore.
The process isn't secretive or inaccessible. The right contact is likely just a phone call or a simple message away. There's no mystery to it, just action. Kody Brown didn't just walk away from his kids. He replaced them.
Okay, give me a kiss. I love you. Give me a hug. Okay, I love you.
Kody maintains an emotionally intimate relationship with Robin's children while having little to no contact with many of his biological children. This is particularly troubling considering Robin's children already have a biological father who is still alive. In contrast, Kody's own children are left without the support and presence of their father.
The other houses had older kids to put all the kids to bed. So I head on over to Robin's house with her 3 kids.
This dynamic appears to fulfill a pattern, one that mirrors Robin's own upbringing with her stepfather, positioning Kody as a replacement rather than a supplement. Despite this, Kody is not the sole father of Robin's children, and pretending otherwise ignores the complexities and responsibilities involved.
In this case, Robin was really special.
Robin often carries herself with an air of triumph, as though she's secured something others failed to.
Robin usually wears her emotions very close to her sleeve.
However, public praise, like Kody declaring how proud he is of her, stands in stark contrast to his silence toward the accomplishments or struggles of his older children. That kind of selective recognition speaks volumes.
Yes, we're gonna have the adoption party.
Big bash, huh?
Adoption, while a valuable and meaningful act, should not be used to obscure or dismantle existing parental relationships. Robin's first 3 children had a father, David Jessup, and the adoption process reportedly involved pressure tactics, including threats of legal action over an injury that occurred under Kody's care. Jessup was allegedly told that relinquishing his rights would lead to the lawsuit being dropped. This approach raises ethical concerns about the integrity of the adoption.
I am nervous about them going up to Montana.
Post-adoption, the children reportedly resumed visits with their biological father, which complicates the narrative that Kody simply stepped in as a needed replacement. This suggests that the biological connection remained viable and meaningful, even if minimized publicly. Ultimately, Robin's children now live under the authority of a man who has effectively distanced himself from many of his own children.
Yeah, we're always nervous about them going up north because when they're there, they come back different.
Despite the new family structure, Robin's children often appear tense and nervous, potentially reflecting the strain of the household environment. The core issue remains. Kody set aside his relationships with many of his biological children in favor of a selective, seemingly more manageable family unit.
He would come over like at 5 at night, have dinner with us.
He later added 2 more children to this new structure, reinforcing the sense that he's building a personal do-over rather than honoring all of his existing responsibilities. Adoption is a powerful and positive option when approached with transparency and respect for all involved. However, it should never come at the expense of abandoning biological children who still need and deserve their father's love, guidance, and presence.
He needs to just encapsulate this and make him realize that everything that he's saying here.
Kody's current path reflects a troubling imbalance, one where presence and parenting are determined not by need, but by convenience and proximity. Religion, humility, and a white Mercedes-Benz? Let's talk about that hypocrisy. Kody and Robin should be absolutely ashamed of themselves. For someone who claims to be deeply religious, Robin seems to have completely missed the message about humility and selflessness. Arriving at the tell-all in a white convertible Mercedes-Benz, that's not just tone deaf, it's a slap in the face. Luxuriating in comfort while the other wives are left with little to nothing is not only hypocritical, it's appalling.
There's the garage goes in here and the garage comes out the other side.
It's hard to fathom how they justify this lifestyle. There's no accountability, no remorse, just entitlement and excess.
I've heard of weird things like he has a bedroom.
Their actions reflect a disturbing level of selfishness and detachment from reality. Meanwhile, Christine, Mary, and Janelle are finally pulling back the curtain and speaking honestly about the past. Their voices bring clarity and depth to a story long clouded by manipulation. In contrast, Kody and Robin contribute little, but manufactured drama, revisionist history, and an inflated sense of importance.
We have a lot of cars and we're gonna have to figure out how to...
The fact that they live comfortably, likely off misappropriated funds, is troubling. It's not just unethical, it's disgraceful.
He's on his way home with a brand new car.
And let's not forget, this isn't new behavior.
The white sports car was...
Kody's indulgence in a sports car years ago while the family struggled financially speaks volumes. His priorities have always been clear and they've never included fairness. The season would have benefited from a tighter edit and a time jump. While the intent to honor Garrison's memory is understandable, the result has been an unearned softening of Kody and Robin's image, one they have done nothing to deserve. And that's me done for today on Reality Nexus X. Thanks for being here, seriously. It's always good having you around. I'm Elena, rest up, take care, and ta-ta for now.